Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We've got our player props video up for you tonight in a 9-game slate, so pretty good amount of games to choose from here. Make sure you check out Nate's great article up on playpicks.com with some best bets and player props in there for you. And like and subscribe to that page. Got a couple other game videos up for you tonight as well. And make sure you're checking out thelines.com. Got that player props tool on there for you to make sure you're getting the best bets and odds available on all those NBA player props out there. And check out play.thelines.com as well, so you can head over to where we're giving away a $25 Amazon gift card to whomever is able to get all of their picks correct on that NBA Daily Pick'em Challenge. So make sure you head over to, like I said, play.thelines.com for those opportunities. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's play props. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, I don't know how confident people are in the Lakers winning a game in Cleveland, but I think we should be confident in LeBron James playing well, getting over 30.5 points, which is his prop right now. That is minus 112. Now, if you just take 30 points in the win, you get plus 320. If you take him to get 35 in the win, plus 580. I think it's worth, sprinkling some money on that, maybe hedging your bets by just taking the points and then hoping for a win. So I think the spread is a little miscast. I think the Cavs and Lakers are about equal at this point, and Lakers really trying to turn it around after their latest embarrassment in Minnesota last week. They have shown a lot better prowess on offense. LeBron's been carrying them anyway, averaging 35.5 with 9 rebounds and 6 assists on a 35% usage rate over his last 8 appearances. He obviously gets up for these games in his last 3 trips to Cleveland, 2 of which were with the Lakers, averaged 40 points per game on 67% field goal shooting with a 146 offensive rating. And the Cavs without Jared Allen are struggling to stop teams down low. They're giving up 57 paint points in their last 3. They gave up a 126 offensive rating to the Sixers and 35 points to Joel Embiid. So now they're allowing 32 points per game, 19 rebounds, 5 assists per game to centers over their last 7. And LeBron kind of playing that point center role for the Lakers. I mean, if the paint is open, he will cash in time and time again, just playing bully ball against Evan Mobley, Lauri Markkanen, whoever the Cavs have to throw at him right now. They're not great options. And the last thing is against the East, he's reliably stepped up with 30-plus points at 14 of his last 17, averaging 33.5 in those games. So the 30-plus points is definitely a good bet here. It's just a question of whether you think the Lakers can actually pull it out with LeBron trying his heroics.
I do not. I do not think that, but I do like everything else when it comes to LeBron playing back in Cleveland. They just lost to the Wizards. I don't know, man. I can't in all good conscience take that or tell anybody else that I would, because I'm not going to. So, but I'm going to take all his other stats. I think he just passed, Karl Malone for second. He's creeping up on Kareem, and it's all about the points at this juncture for him. I don't know that there's he's not catching Michael in terms of titles at this point. You would need Anthony Davis to be Anthony Davis and be on the floor, and also be Anthony Davis when he's on the floor. So it's all about points at this point. It's all about the assists and rebounds and stats for him. And I think he'll continue to gobble those up for sure, especially in the land tonight. So I love anything to do with him to get a lot of stats, just not necessarily wanting to have those dependent upon a win for the Lakers either. So going to go across the floor there from LeBron and take a Cav tonight. So obviously I'm talking about Darius Garland, as there are no other Cavs that I would feel great about. But his points prop is at about 24.5 right now. Well, it's exactly what it is. At FanDuel, it's minus 115. At DraftKings, I also love his 3-point prop at 2.5. That's plus 125. So really great odds there. In man's last 7 for Garland, we're talking 26.5 points, 11 assists per game. He's playing 40 minutes a game in that time with a 30% usage rate. He's just went off over in 2 close wins recently over Denver and Detroit. Really good win against Denver for them over the weekend. 49 points and 26 assists total in those two games. So really good numbers there. Obviously, those 13 assists a game are really nice as well. His points and assists is at 34.5, so that 9.5 assist prop there for him. I don't hate it, but I do also like the points a lot just because he averages a couple more points at home, and you look at where LA is really, really bad on D, especially it's allowing point guards to score, where they give up the most points to point guards, 25 a game. So that does get you over that 24.5 point prop for him, and I think this is a good opportunity for him in a game that, like we talked about with LeBron in the game video. We really like points in this one.
Yeah, I love taking Garland really in any matchup right now, but I mean, with his points prop down, I think a point or two below where it should be based on the averages, you got to love him against the Lakers, against Westbrook and LeBron, who are really just going all out for their numbers on offense, or to just try to carry their team on offense, depending how you look at it, and leaving no energy for defense. And Westbrook, when his shot isn't falling, his defense has been reprehensible this season. He just stands around half the time. Garland, has been linked to LeBron in terms of being a big reason LeBron might want to go there in a year or two. And I think he comes to play in this game as much as Bron does. Yeah. And it's a very favorable matchup. I think this Hornets Pelicans game, which has a pretty high total, should definitely produce some good results. As the Pelicans got CJ McCollum back for 3 games now, winning their last 2 in San Antonio and Atlanta, I think we'll see a little bit more of a shootout feel here because the Hornets come into this game on fire, averaging 130 in their last 4 games, winning all 4 with a 133 offensive rating and 34 team assists per game. LaMelo in his last 7, LaMelo Ball, that is, averaging about 34 PRA with a 120.5 offensive rating. So I like just the overall points, rebounds, assists at 31.5. It's minus 115. If you want a little better juice, just at 18.5 points when he's averaging 20 points per game is about even at FanDuel. He dropped 17, 6, and 9 in a blowout over New Orleans 10 days ago because CJ was not playing. CJ back, no Brandon Ingram, and the Pelicans' defensive rating is 6 points worse per 100 possessions without Ingram. So I think we might see an over here. I think we'll see a shootout with plenty of stats for both LaMelo, Terry Rozier, probably McCollum on the other side. I don't think I see his props up yet, though. Yeah. So I have no problem taking LaMelo, though. The Pelicans have given up them 4th most points and 3rd most rebounds to point guards over their last 15. And LaMelo is filling up the stat sheet per usual.
Yeah, and those stats for them against point guards are actually pretty par for the course. On the season, they're giving up overall the 6th most points to point guards and the 7th most rebounds. They're also giving up roughly the 10th most assists to their opposing point guards as well. So there's a lot of stats to like here tonight for Charlotte. I would also say, though, Charlotte gives up a ton of points to opposing point guards and shooting guards and whatever you want to consider CJ McCollum at this point, as he's just the guard for them, ball handler and the likes, also filling up those assists a ton. So I would definitely look at some CJ props tonight when those come out, as we have done so continuously since he became a member of those Pellies. So I think it's a good opportunity for both guards tonight, LaMelo and CJ, to be hitting their props in that one. Lastly, we're going to go to Seth Curry and that Nets Jazz game that we also have a game video up about tonight. Look, Seth Curry in his last 2 has went bananas. Granted, it was against Philly, so obviously some revenge factor there, and then against the G League Portland Trailblazers. But either way, in his last 2, he missed a couple games in a row. That was bad for the Nets. And then they've actually won the last 3 that he's been playing. And in those last 2, as we mentioned, 25 points a game, 3 boards, 3 assists. He's also got averaging 3.5 steals a game in that time. But most importantly, he's shooting 68% from the field and 55% from 3. He's making 5.5 threes on 9.5 attempts. His plus minus is plus 41 in those 2 games. I mean, he's very crucial to what they do, especially on offense, as we know, and a really great stat for him. As we know, they're at home tonight, so there's no Kyrie. Even though he's allowed to sit courtside with a mask on, he's not allowed to play in this game. But in 8 games without Kyrie so far since Seth Curry came over to the Nets, he's averaging about 17.5 points. So that gets you over the prop there. 3.5 made threes on 47.5%. So that 2.5 3-point prop is just far too low. Even at minus 130, I still am going to go ahead and hit that. And then those 16.5 points, that's where it's been pretty much for him since he became a member of the Nets. And when he's playing well at all, and when they're winning as well, by the way, he's scoring over 17 points for sure. So I think both those props are worth putting some money on tonight.
Yeah, I like the points. I mean, 2.5 threes. I think he'll get over that. I wouldn't necessarily juke it to go higher because the Jazz have done a great job defending the 3-point line. They're so well
Lately.
coached that I think they will chase him off the line a lot. But Curry's pretty much perfected that up fake one dribble mid range, and I think he'll be money on that. Yeah, as you mentioned, shooting 68% his last couple. He's shooting 55% when Kyrie sits. The nice 20% usage rate. That's how the Nets want their possessions to end. If it's not with Durant shooting, it's with Curry getting a good look because of all the attention Durant's getting. So yeah, I think he's a good bet here, as it's pretty much just that two-man game for the Nets without Kyrie.
For sure. Yeah. It's a little bit of a wonky time in the NBA, but I think we can rely on some teams that we know needing to win, such as the Nets. There's going to be a lot of already playoff style basketball going on in a way that we can definitely rely on guys to be bringing it as the regular season does draw to a close. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Check out those other couple videos we have for you. Make sure you're checking out thelines.com, checking out that props tool, checking out the play.thelines.com, winning some money there in that $25 Amazon gift card. And until we see you next, happy betting.